Hello, guys. I'm with Claire Ross, who is Division I soccer player at the University of Rhode Island. Claire is a transfer from Mississippi State after her freshman year of URI. Thank you for being here, Claire, and answering our questions.
Thanks for having me.
So, Claire, what is the best advice Coach Jesse gave you or your team as a whole?
I think the one that sticks out to me the most is just to play the game and not really focus on what other people are doing and just kind of play your game and figure out what you're doing and not worry about what X, Y, and Z are doing on the other team, because it just doesn't help with team cohesion if you're worried about all the other people. So
Yeah. When you first started your recruiting process, how and when did you reach out to D1 coaches?
So when I first started playing competitive soccer, where you'd get recruited, I was so young that I wasn't able to reach out to them. They'd have to email you with a very generic email, and it was like, "Hi Claire, welcome to blah 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 whatever school," and they would give you the coach's name and phone number, and you would call them, and you'd have to just call them until they picked up because they couldn't call you back. So it was just a lot of calling and a lot of just hoping they'd pick up and that they would hopefully give you good news and tell you that they liked you.
Totally. So many young athletes ask us how they should start their recruiting video. How long do you think it should be? And what are some do and don'ts?
So personally, I never had a recruiting video. A lot of my teammates never had a recruiting video in club. And I think the reason we never had a recruiting video was because in a recruiting video, you can kind of just make yourself look almost perfect. And in a way, you could have a really bad game, but you could complete a really good pass and you'd put that in there, but no one saw the bad game you had. But if I were to have a video, I'd make it short and sweet. I'd make it, 3.5 minutes, and I would put in clips of me, making ideas and completing passes and, showing that and how I can pass and how I can run and all that other important things that soccer has. But I would show my tactical side of the game. I think that's a really important thing to have because you can teach a lot of technical things tactically. You can form ideas, and as long as your head is there and moving, I think that's what coaches really want to see, that you're willing to learn and you've got a good idea and things that can kind of be molded.
Definitely. I feel like I've seen too many videos of people just being perfect and just not who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So you transferred from Mississippi State. How was that process, and why did you decide URI or to transfer?
So transferring was hard. I'm just going to put that out there. It was probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I loved where I was. It just, unfortunately, series of events caused me to transfer. And, it's just hard when you pick a school when you're so young and you don't really know exactly what you want to do in life and where you want to be. And when I was transferring, I had to look at a lot of factors, like if they had my major, if they were somewhere I wanted to be, if it was something that maybe I would consider doing. I'm pre-med, so do they have a good program outside of it? Are they connected to other schools? Can they get me somewhere? Will me being a URI graduate help me get to a medical school? And all these factors went into it. And I don't know, I really fell in love with just being on an East Coast. I've never lived, I'm a West Coast kind of girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I never wanted to go back to home. I never wanted to do that. So it was important for me to expand where I wanted to be. But I don't know, I really just loved being at URI with, all the beaches, and the programs are amazing. School is hard, but it is a great place to be if you're, wanting to do something like pre-med or nursing or chemical engineering or something along the lines of that.
Definitely. My next question was, what was the deciding factor you chose URI over schools that recruited you like Tennessee, Virginia Tech, Denver, and other schools? But you pretty much just summed it up right there as well.
I just didn't want to stay close to home. And once I was, in the South, it was not really somewhere where I wanted to be. I didn't fit the Southern mold. I mean, my mom is from Georgia, but that's really, I wasn't born and raised there. I was really raised in Colorado. So, and Rhode Island is just really cool. I mean, it's a small state, but there's so many places you can go. Like Boston's an hour away, New York is 2 hours away, Connecticut's like 45 minutes. You can get to so many places. And I never really had the luxury of that in the South.
Definitely. Big Rhode Island guy as well.
Big Rhode Island guy.
Does URI take walk-ons?
I I think they do. I think every team takes a walk on. I think it's important to have that. And, just because you didn't get recruited when you were younger doesn't mean you don't deserve a chance to play at the next level. I think being a walk on is very important. And I think it gives a lot of the team something to work hard for. And, no one really asks you if you're a walk on or not. It doesn't really matter.
Yep. It just depends in the end on how you practice and play.
Exactly. It depends on how hard you work.
What makes a great URI soccer player?
Our team is really hardworking. We're a hardworking team. I think we put each other first. I think that's a really big thing. I think our team culture is big, because when you don't have team culture, you don't have anything. And, you can be the best team in the world, but if you don't like each other, that's an issue. I think, we're a hardworking team and we focus on team culture, but I just think we play for each other. And I think that's the biggest thing that I think separates us from other teams, is that we go out on the field for each other. Like, I want to do my best because of the 27 other girls on the team. I don't want to play my best for myself. Like, of course I want to play well, but if it looks good on me, it looks good on my whole team. So I
Definitely.
think that's what separates us.
So if a recruit was to come to URI, should they prepare to be able to play other positions if coach needs them to?
Yes, I think that's such a big deal in college soccer. I think a lot of people get moved around because, like I said, with your video, you want to be able to have ideas, and maybe you're not fit for a certain formation at your position. But let's just say if you're a center mid, they go, well, we don't really see you as a center mid because you don't fit the formation and how we want to play in the style of play, but we see you as a center back because you're a bigger girl, taller, and you're fast. You can keep up with the fast forwards and you can deliver really good long balls. I just think you should be prepared to do anything and just keep an open mind, because you never know if you might like that position, and just work hard at it, because there's no use to be upset about it and mope. It looks dumb.
Yeah, I feel like for all sports, it's that way as well.
I'm so sure.
Yeah, if you can play every position, then you should be good at this one position that fits your play style. If you could go back, what would you change about your recruiting process if you could? Or if there is anything?
I think I would not start so young. And I think a lot of NCAA has fixed that. Not to sound like, oh, I'm so good, but like, you start when you're like in 7th grade. And I was like 11. Like, I don't know what I wanted to do. I didn't even know if I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to work in a pet store, but that was about it. So I wouldn't start so young, and I wouldn't get your hopes up. I think that's a really big thing. Like, recruiting is a lot like dating in a way. You start out liking each other and you're like, oh, I really like you. Oh, I really like you. Like, oh my God, come and visit, come meet my parents. Like, so you go out to the school and you meet everybody and you're like, oh, it went great. Like, I think it went well. And then they go, sorry, like, I'm breaking up with you. It's not me. It's not you, it's me. Like, we like somebody else. And you go, oh. And I think as a 14-year-old female, it's really hard to take. And I think it just sucks because you're so young and you have no clue like why they're not like taking you and they're not giving you a scholarship or they don't want you on the team. So I think really figuring out where you want to be. I was all over the board. I was in California. I was in the South. I was, in Virginia, if that counts as, it was like more Northeast South as Virginia, but I was all over the place. So I think maybe narrowing down where you want to be is really important, and just like making sure you know exactly what you want to do so you don't like sound dumb like
Yep.
I did.
So during your recruiting process, were there like some red flags that you would tell recruits going for visits now?
Yeah, I think if, you know, you keep having contact with a school and it's just not going anywhere, it's just kind of like, yeah, we really like you. Like, that's great. They don't say anything, like they don't get the ball moving. I think that's a really big red flag. And if they just, if they're going to like you, they're going to like you. And if they see something in you, they see something in you, and they're going to want to give you a position. Like for me, like with my older school where I transferred from, I played 45 minutes at a camp, and they pulled me into the office and they were like, we want you. Like, there's nothing else. Like, you can come see the campus, but we want you here. So I think if, taking your time is big, but if they're taking their time and they're like really evaluating you, just make sure, you have other options, and just don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Definitely. Great advice. Um, what was it like to go from a southern school to a northern school?
Oh my gosh. It was so crazy because I have been to Northeast for a little bit, and the people are a little different. It's way faster paced. Like the South is so slow moving. People are so nice. If they, you don't know if they're nice or not, but they act nice. And it's just, you're not in a city and you're not in like a fast moving town. In the South, you're just like there for the school, and everybody supports the school, and it's important. So I think it was strange because, traffic is crazy, and
Yep.
I don't know. It's a culture shock. It's a culture shock from the South. It's a culture shock from being out West. It's the whole shebang is crazy. I mean, you have to really like, just like own where you are. I think that's the biggest thing for kids is like, if you don't own where you are and you don't love where you are, then it really ruins like a lot for you.
Oh yeah. What sport would you play in college besides soccer, and why? I heard you were a track star. Would that be your sport?
I probably would play track. I'd run track, but I'd probably like do like play lacrosse maybe. I don't know. I feel like lacrosse and soccer are very similar. Track, I just like don't think I'm fast enough to run D1 track, and that's just how
Yeah.
that's gonna be. But I'd play like maybe lacrosse or tennis. I don't
Hmm.
know. I played those in high school, so I think, yeah, I don't know. I think
Big
lacrosse.
question.
I feel like that's the place.
So, last question. What is the craziest thing you've seen a fan or a parent do at a game?
Oh God. Okay, so when I was in club, my one of one of the parents, I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was on the other team. It was not on our team, so I don't know if it was from another parent, or I don't know how the situation happened, but um something happened in the game where the kid didn't do well, and they had like a tent thing with a table in it. The
Mhm.
person like flipped the table over and like yelled and was like all these obscenities, and we were all like, oh my God, like we're like 13 and they're screaming. Oh my God, it was so crazy. That was so funny. It was a had to be there moment.
Oh yeah. All right, Claire. Well, thanks for answering our questions today. I appreciate it.
Of course,
Thank you for your
anytime.
time. Have a good day.
Bye.